insane and sometimes just funny secrets, but none of them have ever sparked such a movement as one he put out in June that was from an immigrant here in the San Francisco area that was contemplating jumping off the bridge. And we're here today. We might not ever know who sent that postcard in, but we're here today for her or him and anyone else who has ever really considered doing this. It's not the answer, and so we just are here to say, please don't jump. I'd like to introduce to you David Hull. He is the president of the Bridge and Rail Foundation. He lost his daughter, Kristen Hull, over that very bridge in 2003.
Thank you, Casey. For thousands of years, the understanding of suicide has been mired in a miasma of fear, shame, mystery, and embarrassment. Now all that is changing. Is changing because 30 years of scientific studies across the world have produced empirical data demonstrating that most suicides are preventable. Most attempters, once prevented, do not subsequently kill themselves, and that restriction of access to lethal means is the best suicide prevention. What is access to lethal means? The 4-foot barrier on that bridge is access to the lethal means of a 22-story drop. It's the barrier our daughter climbed over before she laid her cell phone on the steel beam outside the barrier and jumped. What is restriction of access to lethal means? It is what every other major suicide destination in the world, from the Empire State Building to the Eiffel Tower to St. Peter's Basilica, has done. Build a suicide barrier and reduced its suicide rate right down towards zero. It's why we need to build the net on this bridge. It will save the lives of the most vulnerable among us. And because this bridge is the mother of all suicide bridges in the world, what we do here will reverberate throughout the world. So, how do we build the net? 3 years ago, 3 of us established the nonprofit, the Bridge Rail Foundation, with only one aim: to see that barrier built on this bridge. We are just one small part of the 8th volunteer effort to build that net. This volunteer effort will finally succeed. Why? Because of the new understanding of suicide as hopeful, not hopeless, and because a groundswell across the population is building. A groundswell of people like you, who may not have lost a friend or loved one to this bridge. You just know that as it stands now, this bridge is wrong. And we cannot allow this iconic national landmark to continue to invite death. Check bridgerail.org to see how you can help make the net real, beginning November 6th to mount the assault on the final obstacle before building that net. Until that net is built, in our understanding and compassion, we beg, please, don't jump. It is my long-awaited honor, with unbounded gratitude to the sponsoring supervisors, David Campos, David Chu, and Bevan Duffy, to read a resolution. Resolved that the Board of Supervisors of the City and County of San Francisco recognize September 22nd, 2010 as Please Don't Jump Day to raise awareness about suicide prevention and the public health solutions. And be it further resolved that the Board of Supervisors of the City and County of San Francisco urges the Golden Gate Bridge, Highway and Transportation District staff and Board of Directors to continue its efforts to expeditiously construct a suicide barrier on the Golden Gate Bridge. And be it further resolved that the San Francisco Board of Supervisors hereby directs the clerk of the board to send a copy of this resolution to the office of the Golden Gate Bridge Highway and Transportation District. The Bridge District now clearly understands that this great city stands for life on that bridge and not for the 70 years of death on it. Now I am greatly honored to introduce the acknowledged political leader of the drive to build this suicide barrier, Tom Ammiano, member of the Assembly of the Legislature of the State of California.
Thank you all so much. I'm so happy that we're blessed with this beautiful weather. A little history: I served as a member of the Golden Gate Bridge District for 11 years, and for 11 years I fought for the authorization and design of a suicide barrier. And some of the reactions, frankly, were mean-spirited from other board members. Some of the reactions were basically not educated yet. We would have many parents, Dave included, who would come and beg the board. There were many tears in that room, yet people still resisted. Mostly they thought, well, this is a historical icon. The aesthetics will be ruined. But as one mother who lost her 16-year-old daughter said, I don't see any aesthetics in the bridge. I see it as a weapon against people not being educated and offering the opportunity to them that they shouldn't have of jumping. We also went to the newspapers. In the moment that they voted that we should have a suicide barrier and that it should be the net design, was a very emotional moment for all of us. The next steps, of course, are the continuing education, but also the funding. And I have gone to Washington, talked to Speaker Pelosi. I think we have about 18, 19, or 20 representatives from this area in Congress in support of the funding. The bill itself that could supply the funding has been delayed. It's called, it's a transportation bill. We also joined with other regions of the country that have bridges, not with the horrific record that the Golden Gate has, but with similar problems. And we've gotten sympathetic ears and support, but now we need the dollars. And so I am pledged, and many others now were on board, to continue to lobby, to go to Washington, give testimony, and to get that money. And why I salute you all here today is we're not just resting on our laurels until that money comes. We're using this as an opportunity to educate people. Finally, I think we'll be able, in the near future, to look at the bridge with a renewed sense of pride. It's ironic that that 4-foot barrier was not originally 4 feet. It was much taller and would have prevented people from jumping. But at the last minute, they changed it. They thought it gave it a better line, etc. So, it's always been a question of priorities. It's always been a question about mental health. It's always been a question of people being very uncomfortable with suicide and not really wanting to deal with it. And I think we've really made a lot of progress thanks to you, because this has been a grassroots effort. And I'd like to present this resolution from the Assembly honoring Please Don't Jump Day and all of you who have been so involved in this. Many of you have heavy hearts, but you've seen through your grief to step forward out of the shadows and to say that these lives need to be memorialized, that these lives could have been saved if the right decisions had been made. And so I thank you very much. I'm going to present this to Casey, I believe. Okay. Congratulations.